So from 2002 until 2016, you worked for two tribal police departments. You worked for the Coeur d'Alene Tribal Police and the Kalispel Tribal Police. Tell me what it's like, because I've interviewed an FBI guy who almost worked exclusively on tribal lands. But tell me what it's like as a police officer working on tribal lands and what the difference is between working on tribal land versus working on a normal police department.
So I worked for the Coeur d'Alene tribe from 2002 to 2014. And then I went to work for the Kalispel tribe the 2015 to 2018. So when I first went to the tribe, there was some stuff that happened at Benoit, and that's
Yeah, is what it is.
yes, it's kind of the same reoccurring theme that you have in your other female interviews. Same thing.
Yeah.
So I knew before something was going to happen to me, I was like, oh no, I'm not going down that road. So a guy was working for the tribe that I knew and was like encouraging, and he had the same philosophy of policing that I did, and we're gonna, do good, and those kind of things. And so I went to the tribe, uh, really naive. I had no idea that. I just thought it's going to be the same, that policing is the same there as it is anywhere. And I found out real quick that it is not. And so.
But you were telling me, explain to the audience, because you were telling me there were three things you had right away against you.
So I had, yes, I was called, I'll tell you what, I was called to two females fighting, and it was up in tribal housing. And I went up there, and I get there and nobody's fighting. And of course they all have scanners. So they knew I was coming, and they heard me get dispatched, and I was new there. And there's a bunch of them sitting out in the yard in the lawn chairs. And I got out of the car and I walked up and I said hello. I always would say hello, especially if I didn't know, like, who am I, hello, yeah. Like, hey, what's happening? Or, what's going on? And, that kind of stuff. So I walked up, and the one girl goes, what are you going to do? What do you mean, what am I going to do? Well, you're white, you're a female, and you're a cop. We hate you. Get the hell out of here. We'll beat you up. What? Whoa. Okay. Welcome to the tribe. Yeah.
So you had those challenges.
Absolutely.
But
all the time.
But ultimately, I think it's fair to say that you kind of worked through that. How did you work through that?
So I had many calls where, the reservation is quite large, and I had many calls that, you'd show up, and obviously I'm female, and obviously I'm white, and obviously I'm a cop. And so, again, communication skills is a lot of it, but not at first. They don't care how well you can communicate. So I would always do my job, but I would always I want a real tribal cop. Okay, well, this says I'm a real tribal cop. This is the patch. I'm a real tribal cop. Nope, you're white. Nope, you're white. So they wanted a tribal member that was a police officer. So I'm like, well, you got it. It's me. So after we worked through that little bit of hardship for a while, it's kind of funny. I heard that quite a bit and never gave in to them. You always just did your job. They were just trying to get out of something. So it was funny because a couple of the tribal officers, they were actual tribal members that were officers, were out on a call. And I was a sergeant at the time. And so I showed up, and they're like, we want Tami. We don't want you guys. We want Tami. I'm like, it wasn't that long ago that you didn't want me. But now you want me? Yes, because you do your job. So,
what were some of the biggest challenges about working on tribal land? I hear a lot of Indigenous women go missing, and there's a lot of
Domestic violence,
yeah, that kind
a ton of it.
yeah. So what was your biggest issues?
I would say domestic violence was and drugs,
Okay.
alcohol, drugs. There's always that's usually the start of everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was really heart-wrenching to see, these females getting beat. And I had one time tell me, I saw her in a car and I walked up to the window and I said, hey, and I called her by her name, and she said, Tami, get out of here. And I'm like, dude, like, what happened to you? She goes, you know what happened to me. She goes, get out of here. This is just normal. Get out of here. Man, this is not normal. You're not a beating post for anyone. No one. I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter. She has since passed away, but yeah, just sad that I think they're getting better as far as the domestic violence. But when I first started, it was kind of all covered up. It was like, okay. And I don't think they feel that way now. Pretty sure they don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Being a tribal cop, tribal law is different than our law or non-tribal members' law. They have their own court.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So how does does it work similar where you still have due process and the whole thing, or is it okay?
Yes, it does. They if you're a tribal member and you get arrested for something, then you're charged through tribal court and you go to tribal court. So yeah, it was a lot of it was, but a lot of it too, they really didn't do a lot to their tribal members. So it depends. So
did they that's interesting. So did they were they pretty lenient with their own then?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so. But thankfully at the time when I worked there, we were cross deputized, so we could handle non-tribal and tribal, so which in my mind helped the county out, because at that time we had like 16 officers. So the county had like 16 free officers, at their disposal to take care of non-tribal things.
Yeah.
There's non-tribal people living all over. So, right. And driving through there. So you had the best of both worlds. You could deal with the tribal people and you could deal with non-tribal people. So it was, it was good. It was fun. It's a lot of fighting and a lot of running. a lot. So you just knew that you're going to either be in a fight or you're going to be in a pursuit. That was it. So wow. Always.
Okay.
Always.